All right, jabronis, we're back. Hope everybody had a good week. I know I did. It's kind of a long week considering we're kind of winding down towards the Christmas season, if you will. Christmas. It is the Christmas season. We're already in, the idiot. But a lot of shit still going on in life and the world, and good things and bad things. And I'm here to level the bubble on all of them. Bad things first. Let's just knock out the bad shit first so we can get into the positivity and the good stuff. So, as you all, I'm sure, know, I've been following pretty heavily the Ghislaine Maxwell trial, and at least like on social media, trying to get updates through the people I know who have or had access to the courtroom, because everybody knows that if you try to go to the media for any updates, you're going to get bupkis, cicadas, nothing. Not a damn word about it. Well, besides last time we talked, besides the Twitter page of Maxwell Trial Tracker, besides that getting suspended, the Instagram page we were pushing out to people to have you guys follow, the House and Habit it was called, that page has now been shadow banned. Now, it's still up there, and if you search under your friends on Instagram, so if you go to Instagram and you go to your profile, and then you see like on the top right there, like who you're following, you click on that, and then you can search the name, and that's how you find it. But if you just do the regular search in the bottom left of the homepage, how you doing, you're not going to find her on there. You're not going to find House of Habit. Because that's part of the shadow ban. But she's still posting stories and updates. The prosecution is rested 10 days into this giant trial to try to put away Ghislaine Maxwell and bring some justice to the whole child sex trafficking thing. And the prosecution rested after 10 days. They called 4 people to the stand. 4. Dozens, if not hundreds, of women were victimized throughout the years from these monsters and the elites. And the prosecution only called 4 witnesses. Okay? Now, I'm not here to put my tinfoil hat on today, but it's ready, because it's a little fishy that the prosecution had a year to prepare this case. You are a lawyer, you're a prosecutor, and you have 1 year, 365 goddamn days to prepare a case against a monster who was the cohort grooming the women for Jeff Epstein and his team of elites that did sex and child rape to these poor girls. You're the prosecutor on this trial. You have an entire year to prepare for this, to put these people to behind bars, to put her behind bars and bring a little justice and closure to the whole thing. Maybe identify more bad people and implicate them. And you're done in 10 days and call 4 people to the stand? You either are the worst prosecutor in the history of prosecution, or you're on the take. No self-respecting attorney who has any sort of pride whatsoever is gonna spend an entire year preparing to get into the courtroom and take an absolute shit right on the table, right on the witness stand, and only call 4 people and rest in 10 days. Absolutely embarrassing. Something that is shenanigans all across the board. This has been a dog and pony show the entire time. They already knew the outcome that they're going to have. This is theater at this point. It's unbelievable. It's theater. Despicable. I mean, what are we doing? And what actually angers me, besides the general complete lack of interest by the public and the media, what really frustrates me is the people I know in my circles that have no problem doing their Instagram and Twitter trolling for all these other bullshit causes, whatever the media is telling them to think is important. They have no problem doing that or being shitty to people on social media, calling out strangers, acting like text message tough guys. But when it comes to this, absolute silence. I don't understand it. I don't understand the logic, and I want to know. I wish someone would tell me. Somebody I know. It's not. You can't say you're not aware of this situation going on, this case going on, because if you're listening to this now or ever, you know about the case. I beat the dead horse on a weekly basis to make sure you guys are aware that this shit's going on in the world. So you can't use that as an excuse. So I really just want to know, why are you so voluntarily silent on one of the most despicable things to occur in our lives, certainly our lives, and several generations before us? This is a monumental, essentially international child sex trafficking ring and child rape and pedophilia ring that has occurred, involving everybody big. And you're silent on it. You're talking about wearing 15 masks and how we should knight Dr. Fauci, make him a saint. I mean, what are we doing here? Tell me why. Tell me why you're so willfully silent. That's all I want to know. You could just be like, I don't care about it, or it doesn't fit my narrative. At least be honest. Like, it doesn't fit my current agenda that I'm trying to push out in public. Okay, I at least respect the honesty this time, even though you're kind of being hypocritical and lying by not putting out all this stuff that you know, whatever. But at least you're admitting to it. I mean, I just have these questions. I just want to know. Why is this biggest, most despicable thing going on in the world today, or in the country at least, being completely swept under the rug by everybody? And anybody who talks about it, who has more than 50 followers, is getting silenced and shut down. That is the most mind-boggling, frustrating thing I've seen and experienced in a long time. And it's sad. And I hope that the people who are turning a blind eye to it don't regret that decision years down the road. I hope the important people who had the ability to do something about it, they're not going to regret the decision to choose not to do anything about it, because it's sickening. It's sickening. Anyway, we got one more piece of bad news, and then we got good news. Okay? Bear with me here, folks. CNN. Now, everybody knows how I feel about all media outlets these days. They're on TV, on cable TV, absolute trash. They're all biased in their own right. They all have a personal agenda. When I say personal, like each company has its own agenda. They're looking for profits. They're looking to cause chaos. They're looking to cause clickbaity shit. They don't care about the truth anymore. They don't care about objectivity. They don't care about investigative journalism. None of that shit. They don't care. What you'd think they would care about, though, is when there is almost like an epidemic of sexual misconduct within your company, that you would want to nip it in the bud, per se, figure it out. But for whatever reason, CNN just lets it keep happening. Now, this week alone, another CNN producer got called out. I don't know if they've been charged or suspended or anything yet, but they've been called out publicly for sexual misconduct and lewd messages, aggressive behavior towards a minor. Again, another minor. That's the second producer. This is not the same one I'm talking about again. This is a second producer who's getting caught for this shit. Sending text messages talking about fantasizing about his fiance's underage daughter. And then before that was the other producer who was bringing over women to his estate or wherever he was living with their young underage daughters so he could try to do stuff to them, so he could convince them to give up their young underage daughters to him to do sex stuff. And that's going silent. I'm not surprised, but it's still disheartening every time you hear it that they're not talking about that. Nobody's talking about it. You got to really dig for it. On top of that, they had three in the past year alone, three personalities on their network. They're certainly not journalists anymore, but they're TV personalities, content creators, if you will, that have been either caught or accused of sexual misconduct or harboring and supporting those who conduct sexual misconduct. We talked about Chris Cuomo. He's been accused of some bad stuff, some sexual assault himself, and also trying to help his brother, the ex-governor of New York, Nipple Ring Cuomo, to try to pass him intel and support, and subvert the stories of his sexual misconduct, his assault allegations. And then you have Don Lemon, who was recently just accused of some sexual misconduct. I'm not exactly entirely sure of what the nature of that is just yet, because it's tough to find information on it. It's been silenced. He also has been part of the testimony of the Juicy Smollett trial, trying to help him out to try to get him to bolster his lie. And then everybody seems to forget the CNN reporter, I forgot where else he worked, who was caught on the Zoom call doing jerk off on a Zoom meeting. He's back out there in the ether doing his thing. He went dark for a little bit, and now he's back on the circuit. Okay, these are the people who are smugly and pridefully commanding you to believe their stories and trust everything they say as gospel. Okay, think about that. And this just happens to be CNN this time, but we all know about Bill O'Reilly on Fox and some other shit that the other folks have done. MSNBC had some people doing some shady, sleazy shit, and nothing gets done about it. Don't forget that when you watch this shit, this smut, and they're sitting there on their moral high horses in the ivory tower, smirking and laughing at you and telling you will believe everything I say or you're a piece of shit. Remember that. They're saying that in front of the camera. Behind the camera, they're touching children and lying and protecting those who are touching women and children inappropriately. No wonder why they don't want to talk about the Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell shit, because they're all doing it too. Sickening. Baby Jesus didn't die so that we can be pedophiles. Don't forget that either. Despicable. All right, I think that's all the bad shit we got today, folks. I think we knocked it out early. I think we're good to go. Okay? So we're gonna roll into some good news real quick, and then we'll get down to business. Big announcement. I put it out on the social medias, the LPDS social medias, Facebook, Instagrams, all the how you doings. But the LPDS community has gained a new member on the payroll, and his name is Randall Romeo Memphis Reigns. He's a pit bull terrier mix. He's sleeping right now. I don't want to bother him, but I'll post a picture of him here for you to see. The newest member of the family. He's a big fan of the show. He always has been, and now he's a member of the Pride, if you will, the Junction, the universe. And I'm very excited for it. He's active. He's active in the community. He does do normal stuff that we like to do as human beings. He does do self-JO, which is fine. He likes to run around and exercise, hit on chicks. He is as part of the LPDS community as you can imagine, and he's only been here a week, so Congratulations and welcome to the team, buddy. He's a real grand champion. By the way, Randall Reigns, Nick Cage's character in A Gone in 60 Seconds. Memphis Reigns. Okay. If you think I don't have an obsession, you're wrong. And I will admit that. Okay. If you think I don't have a problem with Nick Cage, you're wrong. And I don't mind saying it. Now, speaking of Nick Cage, step into the cage.
Okay, let's run.
All right. Today's Into the Cage segment is proudly sponsored by Moriello's Man Ponds. Fellas, don't sit there and pretend you never had to deal with horrific ass sweat so bad that it drips down into your crotchal grundle area and soaks right through your tighty whities. Well, now you'll never have to deal with a sweaty, nasty, uncomfortable crotchal situation again with the Moriello's Man Pond. Moriello's uses enhanced moisture-wicking fabric, how you doing, to absorb your crack sweat, wick it away, and neutralize any potential odors. So to get rid of your swamp ass today, visit www.saladtoss.com and use the promo code CRACKATTACK for 2.9% off your first pack of ponds. We all know that feeling, men. It's not just women who have to deal with stuff like that with the man pond situation. Men do it too. So get your packs on sale now in preparation for summertime when it gets hot and you don't want to deal with that nasty grundler situation. All right. All right. The Cage fact today. It's really more like an update. We've discussed previously. He was filming a while ago, filming for a role where Nick Cage plays himself in the movie. He plays Nick Cage like a not a cartoonized, but a Hollywoodized version of himself in the movie called The Unbearable. Let me make sure I got this right. Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. Okay. Then there was rumors he was filming it. I tried to tell everyone ahead of time that it was coming. Well, now it's official. The trailer has come out this past week, and it's set to release in April of 2022. Which means the movie's done. If the trailer is out, the movie is complete and ready to rock and roll. So go check out the trailer. I mean, think about it. It's Nick Cage playing himself in a movie who gets hired to entertain and go to this super rich guy, the rich foreign guy's birthday party. And then the hijinks ensue from there. Trailer is great. It looks phenomenal. And if you think it's not going to be Cage-tastic, Nick Cage is playing himself. So he has to pretend now to be himself. He has to act out what he thinks cartoonish Nick Cage would be. Think about that for a second. Look, even the grand champion is excited to hear about it. I mean, if you're not pumped for this movie coming up, you're an asshole. There's no way it's not going to be good. So get excited. Stand by for it. It's coming in April. I told you about it months ago. Some people didn't want to believe me, but once again, the LPDS is always right and always ahead of the curve. All right. That's the Cage fact. Short, quick update. How you doing? Done. Bada bing, bada boom. Betty boop. All right. Moving on into the junction. Spin the logo up. I wanted to discuss, I brought up the question on Instagrams and Facebook of worst Christmas gifts. We're getting to the Christmas season. I'm going to try to do a Christmas special coming up for the actual Christmas weekend itself. But leading up to it, I wanted to get our brains and our minds in the festive Christmas mindset. So I wanted to talk about some of the stuff that you guys have gotten over the years that you thought maybe was not so great, a little ridiculous, terrible, lazy. We've all have gotten stuff just like that, clearly like re-gifted stuff, shitty clothes or socks, books on how to cope with adoption or whatever it might be. I mean, we all got shit like that, and I wanted to hear about it. Sorry, folks, we had a little technical difficulties there, but we're back talking about bad Christmas gifts, shitty gifts. So I got the list out. I found all your feedbacks or submissions, and some of these are pretty good. I mean, not pretty good, but like pretty entertaining. On the outside looking in, I wouldn't want to get some of these gifts, but it's funny. That's what we're here for, to make fun of our friends and have good times. So the first one is actually from The Creature. We all know him. He's a character in the LPDS universe. So his submission was simply, we had a strict no gift policy. Now, I didn't do any follow-up yet because he's been busy working and doing his thing, but it got me thinking, like, whose policy? Was it his policy? Like he didn't want gifts? Or was it his family's policy of like, we're not giving our children any gifts for Christmas? Or was it like a deal that his parents made with the big man in red upstairs of like, look, these kids don't deserve it. There's not going to be any gifts. We're going to set the standard now. They haven't earned it. And that's that. I don't know what it is. Regardless, no gifts ever is a tough way to be brought up from childhood onto adulthood. At least for Christmas. I understand, how I feel about adult birthdays and how they're a waste of time, and the whole people that do that, it's my birthday week, it's my birthday month, we're going to do it big. And it's like, shut up. You breathed for one extra year. If it wasn't for your parents doing a good enough job to get you to survive on your own, your fat, stupid ass wouldn't be alive to have a birthday month where everyone has to praise and kiss your ass for the whole time. But on Christmas or Hanukkah or whatever holiday around this time that you celebrate that involves getting presents, and there's a strict no gift policy, it's a tough way to live. The fact that Creature is the absolute gentleman and mature human being that he is today is a true testament to his mental and testicular fortitude to be able to get through that without a lot of trauma and PTSD and fallout, war pain, if you will. So good on him. I mean, that's a bad gift. No gift is probably the worst gift. Maybe this next one is the worst gift. I don't know. One buddy got, and we're going to keep most of them anonymous. Some people said we can name names. The rest are just anonymous submissions that sometimes you don't even know who is submitting, especially if they're using like burner accounts and stuff. So we'll keep it anonymous to protect the innocent. Look at Randy over here, by the way. Look at Randy in YouTubeville. Oh, Randy, you're a good boy. You're the grand champion. Yes, Randy. Yes. All right. So this guy, this must have been clearly around the time Brett Favre he moved over to and got the deal with the Jets, the New York Jets football team. And his worst gift was a Brett Favre Jets jersey. So if anyone who doesn't follow NFL football, Brett Favre was a prolific quarterback for the Green Bay Packers for years. And then he got old as shit, and Aaron Rodgers came about, and the Packers wanted nothing to do with him anymore. So he left, and he still wanted to play because he thought he was going to be good or whatever. I don't know. And the Jets picked him up for a couple of years, maybe 2 seasons, 1 season. I don't know what it was. But that's the story of Favre. Buying jerseys is a tough business to begin with, because unless you're dealing with the top tier athletes who are going to stick around on the team forever, like Derek Jeter on the Yankees, Tom Brady on the Patriots for a while now, until recently, Eli Manning on the Giants, Michael Jordan, Even he was on a different team. Jesus, see how difficult it is to find people that you want to buy a jersey for with their name on it, and then you know they're going to stick around. But buying a Brett Favre jersey for someone, I mean, this guy just got shut out by his team, the team he won a Super Bowls with, and MVPs and All-Stars and how you doings. They threw into the wolves. They're like, you're old, you're dead, you're dying. You're done. Thank you for your service. Godspeed. And that's around the same time, Favre was in the midst of his crotch pick enthusiast set, window. I don't know what to call it. The time frame where he was sending a bunch of dick pics to people inappropriately, like female news reporters and what have yous. And he was in a real, I don't know, this real weird phase. That's the word I'm looking for. A phase of wanting to send dick pics. And you think he's going to be a success for the New York Jets with that fat foot fetish Rex Ryan at the helm? I think it was Rex at the time. Maybe it wasn't. I don't know. Maybe it was Parcells. Nah, it wasn't Parcells. He was long dead by then. Dead for the NFL, not for this earth. But I mean, whoever decided to buy him that gift, I do feel bad for him, because before he probably even got it on to try to see if it fits, Favre was out. They drove him out of New York, and he ended up with the Vikings, a third team where he actually did well for 1 year, or the team did well. I don't know how well he did. I don't remember, but that's a tough gift. Recipe for disaster right there. So I kind of feel for you, but whoever bought it for you ought to be ashamed of themselves, honestly. I mean, what are we doing here? Right, Randy? Right, buddy? Yeah. Next gift. This is a funny one because I lived it. My sister of the LPDS, she received a VHS copy, okay? And it's not the good copy, like the hard plastic case that you open up. It was the cardboard, slide the video into this garbage. It looked like someone pencil drew the title on there of Grease 2. Not Grease 1, guys. Not the John Travolta, Danny Zuko, how you doing? But Grease 2. Starring Michelle Pfeiffer as the lead chick. And then the lead deal with some British guy. I forgot his name. I didn't see him anywhere else besides Grease 2. And more recently, he's been in a couple of the Hallmark Christmas movies, because I watch those. And I'm not ashamed to admit that at all. And he was in a couple of those. The other person in the movie that you might recognize is Shooter McGavin. And he plays a guy named Goose, who is 40 years old, but apparently still in high school and riding motorcycles. If you haven't seen the movie, you got to check it out. It's an all-time terrible movie, but it's so entertaining. It's riddled with sexual innuendos, sex talk in school with all these grown 40-year-old men and women pretending to be in high school. You okay, buddy? Okay. You got sexual assault attempts left and right throughout the movie. And you got a whole bunch of motorcycle riding. That's the movie. That's it. It's men and women pretending to be kids, touching each other and hitting jumps. And my sister was livid. But my brother, Nicky Sticks, watched that video until the tape melted away. That's how I know about the movie, because we watched it almost every day. Couldn't get enough of it. It was the worst gift for my sister and the best gift for my brother, all in one shot. He didn't even know it was going to be for him. It was a Christmas miracle for Sticks and a nightmare on Elm Street for my sister. What is that? What is that Halloween Christmas movie with Jack Skellington? Nightmare Before Christmas. That's what I wanted to say. God damn it, Libretti, you blew it. It's all right. Easy. Randy's getting loud out there. All right. The next gift got a submission. Says, 1 year, a family member of mine received a live horse as a gift. Seems pretty ridiculous if you ask me. So a family member in this person's family received a live horse, not a doll, not like a free pass to go ride a horse, but an actual live horse. Now this person owns the horse, and they got to go take care of it and ride it and train it and rent out the place for it to stay, a stable. How you doing? They own the horse. It's their horse. They got gifted a horse. And that's the gift. It wasn't a joke. It wasn't a prank. They got the horse. Very ridiculous gift. I don't know if it's the worst gift. I'm sure to that person they love it. That's a great gift for them, but it is in the like the realm of ridiculousness. And it does have to be discussed. Now, the same person, not the horse owner now, but the person whose family member got the horse, the submitter of the horse gift thing, they got a top 5 worst gift, and they didn't even remember it. I had to remind them about it because I heard about it when it happened. So this person he had a stepbrother at the time. His father married some broad who had kids as well. They're since divorced, thankfully, because she was a nightmare, and so was her family. But this kid, they were doing like a little Secret Santa white elephant. How you doing? And the stepbrother got this guy, my friend, as his guy, his giftee, if you will, recipient. So he had to get him a gift. What I think happened was that he either was like tripping balls on drugs or completely forgot that he had to bring something over for Christmas to give to my friend, that he just panicked and looked in his closet or under his bed or on the floor for anything that he can find and just brought it over and put it in a bag and said, "This is your gift."
Yep, that's exactly what happened.
And what he gave him it wasn't even like a shirt, hat, nothing. It was a belt that was 50 sizes too big for my friend. And I'm pretty sure, I can't remember exactly, but I'm pretty sure there was already like knife holes cut into the belt to create more holes because the belt was too big for that person as well. And he just gave it to him in a plastic bag and said, "Here, Merry Christmas. It's a fresh belt for you. You might have to adjust it with some more holes, more knife holes, but here you go." And I saw the belt. It was 100% used. There was no way, no chance in hell that he bought that in the last decade. That thing was used. It looked like it was used in some sort of erotic asphyxiation situation because it had like skin marks and stuff on the belt, probably from a sex choking. And then now it's his gift. Now my friend has it for posterity. It's his gift forever. All right, Randy, calm down, buddy. We're almost done, buddy. Now, speaking of sticks, going back to Nikki Sticks, it's not a worse gift, but it's becoming like an unsustainable, like, it's I don't even know if it's a joke or whatever, but he's been getting, because he's the cigar architect, he gets somebody in life, a coworker, a friend, a family member, anybody who interacts with him, somebody each year has gotten him for the past several years, one of those whiskey glasses with the cigar slot on the side so you can hold your cigar in it. They think, because, he's the cigar architect, he works at JR Cigars, he's, gonna love this. And the fact that the whiskey glass cigar holder has been around for 10 years, doesn't matter. I don't care that he probably has it already, or I'm not even thinking about it. I'm just going to get it for him. So he's got about 5 or 6 sets of these glasses already, and he doesn't even use them. He has glasses already, and he doesn't smoke in the house where the glasses are. He only smokes at work, so he's not drinking at work. So it creates that little bit of a conundrum where he can't use the glasses. So it's becoming a problem for him. His entire China set is all whiskey glasses with cigar slots on them, and it's unsustainable. And if you're looking for ideas on what to get Nikki Sticks for Christmas, there you go. All right, we're rolling through here. This other submission, this is from Norway Chris. Now, if you don't remember, Norway Chris dressed up as the WWE wrestler Godfather with his hoe train in 7th grade and showed up to his Catholic school 7th grade dance as the Godfather with the hoe train. Okay, so that's who we're dealing with here. So this is a guy who probably gets some shitty gifts. Now, back in the day, Norway Chris, from what I hear throughout the lore of Norway and Ohio and where he's from, he was a bit of a party animal back in the day. He could throw it down, and he also got a little reckless with people, and he didn't mind a fisticuffs or two if he had a scrap. And I respect the hell out of that. I appreciate that. But his worst gift, let me make sure, and I'm going to read this to make sure I get it right. He said, "My worst gift was a Grey Goose bottle to the head by some jerk off in Pittsburgh." Now, I don't know who this jerk off was, but you have to be an absolute asshole piece of garbage to think it's okay to hit somebody with a bottle like that, unless your life is on the line and you need to protect yourself and all you have is a bottle. There's really no other reason to slam a vodka bottle onto somebody's head. It cracked the bottle and it landed Norway Chris in the hospital. So his Christmas gift was probably concussion. He had stitches, hospitalization. I think I'd rather get the creature's no gift policy than get struck in the head, violently struck by a goddamn bottle. But Norway Chris survived. Thank God. The Godfather endured, as he should, and we're thankful for it. So thank you for your submission, Chris. I'm glad that you're okay and doing well. Now, I got these 2 random entries. I'm pretty sure they were bot. Well, one of them was definitely a bot. The other one, I don't know if somebody made a troll account or what it was. It was no picture. The name was not really real. It was one of those like just a bunch of letters and periods and how you doings. But one submission just said, so if you're on Instagram, if you remember how we did this submission, it was a question session on Instagram. You can click inside and you can type it and it sends a response. All this person wrote was, "My God, check your DMs." So naturally, I go and check my DMs on Instagram to see what the hubbub was, see maybe if we get in a juicy story on a really bad gift or whatever. And all it said in the message, it was a question, and I quote, this is a direct quote: "Want to see me do fuck?" End quote. Sorry, Terrence, this is not the family Christmas show. Maybe next time will. Next week will be. But that's all it said. So I don't know if that's an offer for a gift or if it's a bot or what. But a top 3 submission of the week for sure. For sure. So thank you for that. The other very strange submission, I don't know if it's true or just a tall tale, but I got to talk about it anyway because it is kind of wild, is somebody wrote, again, this is like from the weird fake name, is worst gift I got was crotchless panties from my mother. End of submission. Now, I have a lot of questions here. First of all, there's no picture associated on the profile of this person that submitted. There's no indication that this was a real person to begin with because they had like no followers, no posts, no nothing on their, like I said, it could have been just that somebody made a burner one just to make a wildly fake thing. But I still have questions. What if this is real? Is this person a guy, a female? Who has to wear the crotchless panties? Imagine that with a guy and his ball bag is hanging out and is trying to do the little helicopter. I mean, what is the point of crotchless panties for a male? When I don't get it. just don't wear underwear. Just go commando. You're just wearing string around your waist at that point. Now, even if it was a female, I don't mind the crotchless panty situation if it's done tastefully, but getting it from your mother? Was it like a stepmother? Was it a mom who was trying to be cool mom? Like Amy Poehler's character in Mean Girls? I don't know what the entire story was and the reason behind it and the motivations, and if maybe it was a gag gift. Maybe the recipient is like a stripper or a toot, and the mother was just trying to help buy them something for their career. I don't know what it was, but that's one of the worst gifts you can get from your parents, is some sexualized thing of any sort, whether it's clothes, a fleshlight, whatever it is. One of those fake Jello butt things that you could do sex to. Despicable, wild stuff. I feel for that person. I hope it wasn't real. I hope it was a joke. So if anyone has any information essentially on the origin of that and who wrote that, please report it immediately to Libretti Podcast Diary at gmail.com. Now, my worst gift. I have two, but here's the thing. The first one that I can remember, this is all I remember about it. I remember I received a gift, and as soon as I looked at it, I got the lump in my throat, and I began sort of crying. I got immediately just destroyed, utterly emotionally destroyed, like a beta bitch boy. And I started crying because the gift was so bad. The problem, though, is I don't even remember what the gift was. I just remember, and I just know that at one point I received the gift, and my immediate response to that was cry like a beta bitch boy. So the gift had to have been bad, but I can't remember for the life of me. It was like I repressed the memory what that gift was. Ghost. I can see even like where I was in my house at the time. I was a kid. It was our red house in Rockaway Borough, New Jersey. And I'm sitting there and I'm looking at the gift, and then in front of me right now is just a blur. I don't know what the hell it was. That's it. But the one I do remember, wasn't even that bad. So I'm grateful that it wasn't that bad. It wasn't crotchless panties from my mother from Crazy Carol, because that would have been an absolute nightmare. But one year, my mother asked, hey, give me a smaller list of things you want that your aunts and uncles can get you for Christmas. We were younger. Maybe I was in elementary school or middle school at the time, one of those around that time frame. And what I wanted was like, I wrote down a couple of like cassettes that I wanted. One was Weird Al, because I was big into Weird Al. I had almost all his stuff. Bad Hair Day, Alapalooza, in 3D, Smells Like Teen Spirit or whatever, Smells Like Nirvana, I think his album was called. All of them. And I had them all on cassette too. So I was asking for one of those. And the other thing I wanted was Hootie and the Blowfish. Darius Rucker. That was back before everyone even realized that Darius Rucker was a country singer the entire time, and they made him become Hootie for the Blowfish stuff because that was going to get his name out there and get him rich and famous and successful, I guess. So he did Hootie for a while, and I wanted their cassette. So I put that on the list. Now, where things got a little like murky was that apparently my sister and my brother also put Hootie and the Blowfish on their list for my aunts and uncles to get as well. Okay? That's a key piece of evidence here in this story. So what we used to do back in the day is Christmas morning, we would open presents at our house. We would clean up. We would get dressed and be in our Sunday best or Christmas best, and then we would head over after church, of course, to wash away our sins, and we would head over to my aunt and uncle Scalingi's house and do Christmas dinner there with the grandparents and the aunts and uncles, and more gifts and more how you doings. Now, we get there, and it's time to open the gifts that we get from the aunts and uncles. My sister opens up her gift, Hootie and the Blowfish cassette. Some other cassettes too. Hootie and the Blowfish. Cool. Got it. So now I know they're looking at the list. They actually looked at the list and tried. Cool. My brother, couple CDs, Hootie and the Blowfish. Odds are, at this point, I'm going to get what I want. I mean, if I don't get the Weird Al, that's fine. They were more of like a cult following, that's hard to find. I knew where to find them, so it wasn't a big deal. If I got a couple bucks from them and then I could go get it myself, that would have been fine too. Or even just a gift card for Coconuts or Sam Goody, it would have worked out. But at the very least, I knew I was going to get Hootie because everybody else got it. I got a CD by the music group called Take That. Now, if you're wondering who the hell Take That is, we were sharing the same feelings as I was as a kid when I opened up that goddamn CD. I had no clue who they were. Never heard of them in my life. Apparently, they were British, I think. I still don't know to this day. But what I do know now is that Take That is the group that sang the intro song for Friends. I'll Be There For You. Believe it was Take That. Whatever, I'm almost positive it was Take That. For whatever reason, that sticks in my mind. It was called Take That. But whatever the group's name was, that CD, that they were the group that sang that song. And I'm almost positive it was Take That. And I had no idea who it was. I didn't write that on the list. I didn't watch Friends. My sister watched Friends. So I don't know where that came from. The only thing I could think of was that they forgot to buy me a gift. And they grabbed that off of their shelf and wrapped it and gave it to me as a regift. Now, there was definitely no malintent behind it. In fact, if you ask them now, they probably don't remember doing anything of the sort. And even if you kind of refresh their memory, they probably would have been, they would have said like, oh, I thought you might have liked this. Like there was no shenanigans or tomfoolery going on with this whole situation. It was just a very strange coincidence that I had Hootie and the Blowfish as my number one request for the cassette. And I'm the only one in the family who didn't get it. I got Take That and a CD. I didn't even have a CD player at the time. I had to go buy a Walkman with bass boost on it so I could play this damn CD to find out there was only one song I knew, and it was a song to a show I didn't even watch. And I had to sit there, and I was old enough to the point where I couldn't get away with just bitching and moaning about it and be like, what the hell is this? This is garbage. Because when you're super young, you can do that. And they're like, oh, he's a kid. He doesn't know how to react. He's an idiot. He'll figure it out. I was old enough to know that if I pulled that shit, I would have gotten a shoe from 50 yards out from my old man and then followed up with the cookie clench around my cheeks until I was blue in the face, until I was spitting up blood practically. And I would have deserved it. If I reacted like that, I would have deserved everything I would have gotten from them. So I had to hold it in. I had to fake nice. And it really set the stage for me being a fake nice person in public now. I'm very good at it. And you can blame my poor aunt and uncle who just wanted to give me a good Christmas gift, something new that I can learn about and be entertained by. And now I became a lying piece of garbage because of it. That's the origin story. That's how you have like these murder mystery documentaries of these psychopath serial killers. That's the origin of how I became this mental case who lies to people in public, pretend I like them. Because I had a fake nice to make people think I like Take That, and I had no idea who the fuck they were. And that's all I got today for the Christmas gifts. Randy's sad. He's bitching in the background, as he should be because it's over. But before we go, before it's all over, talk about the big three very quickly. Number one, everybody knows exercise every day. You know how you feel after you exercise. Don't tell me you don't feel good after the exercise is over. So there's no reason why you shouldn't do it every day. Super easy. Do jumping jacks, jog in place, push-ups, sit-ups, leg lifts, whatever, anything. Those are all things you can do with body weight and nothing else but your body. You can do it in front of the TV. All right? Number two, don't be a shitty person. It's the easiest thing to do these days is just be shitty on the internet, especially on the internet, because there's seemingly nothing on the other side. You're just talking to a computer screen and typing shit out and then firing and forgetting. And you're forgetting that there's a human being on the other side who has to deal with the fallout of that, the emotional fallout of getting that hate and that negativity. And it's the stupidest shit because it does nothing for you as a human being. What do you get? If you get anything positive out of being a shitty person, you have the problem. We already discussed that. If you get anything positive out of that, you have a problem. I think people already do have a problem who live in that world of negativity and feel the need to shitpost and be negative and mean to people online and try to puff their moral chests out online and think that they're better than people. I think those people already have shit going on in their lives to begin with, and they need to get help, and I feel bad for them. But it's important to try to identify and admit that you have that issue and step back and try not to be that shitty person. All right? So don't do it. And number three, the most important one, be genuinely thankful and grateful for all the good you have in your lives. I just posted on my Instagram stories, on the LPDS story. It's probably expired by now, but it's on Gary V's his Instagram, Gary Vaynerchuk, big time success story, worked his ass off creating like a wine website from his father's wine store in Jersey. He's an immigrant from like Russia or Ukraine or some Eastern European nation, came to this country, worked his ass off. Now he's a super billionaire, super successful guy, does a lot of motivational speaking now, but he still has his own jobs and his own stuff. And one of the things he was talking about was being grateful. He had a little clip, a reel on Instagram about being grateful and the importance of being grateful in your life and actually feeling it and living it. And it made it clear. It just proved that Gary Vee clearly follows the big three and listens to it, to the LPDS, because he put that video out this week and we've been talking about it for months. And once again, LPDS is always right and always ahead of the curve. Okay? Years down the road, you're going to look back and thank yourselves for being the ride or dies now, for toughing out this unpopular time when nobody else is listening to my bullshit. You're going to thank yourselves for toughing it out and being riders, being ride or die fans, because when we make it big, when the junction grows to monumental numbers, it's going to be for reasons like this, because we say the right stuff. We're ahead of the curve. We're always on top of our shit. And one of the most important things to be on top of every day is to be genuinely thankful and grateful for all the good you have in your lives. That's all I got today, guys. Thank you again for listening. Stay tuned for more Christmas-related content, hopefully next week during Christmas weekend. Like, subscribe. Pass all this shit on to your friends and family. Let them know this is the source for all the good shit, all the lessons, the humor, all of it. The big three. Thank you again. I love you all. Stay strong.